Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Super Gaming Minute, the channel dedicated to all things Nintendo and gaming. Now I must apologize to you guys, it's been a hot minute since the last time I uploaded a video, about 3 or so weeks, and I do apologize for the wait on this video. I did take a vacation, and then after that I ended up getting the flu, so it was a terrible time for me to work on YouTube videos. But anyway, enough rambling. We are already into the first week of August, and about 3 or so years into Nintendo's paid version of Nintendo Switch online service. Nintendo has offered NES games online since the paid version of the service came online in September of 2018 and included the SNES games in August of 2019. And since then, we haven't had any new announcements regarding any new emulators coming to Nintendo's online service. So when will we see the addition of Nintendo's third home console being added to the service? Well, I thought I would spend some time talking about that and going over some possibilities. But before we get into any of that, please do not forget to subscribe to Super Gaming Minute if you enjoyed talking all things Nintendo and gaming. Share the video with a friend who, like me and yourselves, is looking forward to the possibility of the Nintendo 64 being available on the Nintendo Switch online service. And of course, like the video if you found it fun, informative, or even if you just want to be nice. Making these videos takes a lot of time and it's nice to get a little recognition, okay? But all jokes aside though, let's get straight into the video. So when can we see the N64, or possibly the Game Boy Color games make its way onto the Nintendo Switch online service? As we are getting near the end of the summer months and heading into the fall, speculation is already run rampant as to when we will see the next Direct from Nintendo. As we all already know, the last Direct we've received from Nintendo was at this year's digital event at E3 where Nintendo unveiled numerous new titles including WarioWare Get It Together, Super Mario Party All-Stars, Mario plus Rabbids 2, and of course, Metroid Dread. This Direct, although very well received by the majority of Nintendo fans, had a few expected titles and heavily rumored franchises not make their debut at this event. I'm talking about titles such as the heavily rumored new Donkey Kong game by the developers of Super Mario Odyssey, the lack of Zelda 35th anniversary, which I'm very upset about, and of course, a new console added to Nintendo's online service. Now yes, I believe we will see these titles and services on the Switch, and I do think we will hear about it fairly soon. Now, the rumor mill is already buzzing about Nintendo's next Direct being showcased in September, and if you've been following Nintendo's schedule of release for classic systems being released on the Switch online service, you'll notice that they have been releasing them in August and, well, you guessed it, September. 2020 excluded for obvious reasons. Now obviously, if you take into consideration that historically these are the months that we received this update to the Switch online service, and not to mention President Furukawa stating back in July when asked about the current state of Nintendo's online service, and I quote, "We are working on increasing the appeal of the service to make it even more fun and convenient to play with Nintendo Switch." Now this could mean a lot of different things. Nintendo is usually pretty vague when they answer questions like this, and from a business standpoint, I get it. But if we take a step back and really look at the clues and evidence, all the pieces are there. It's the right time of year historically for it to happen. Nintendo themselves have spoken about improving and making the online service more fun, and they already have an emulator built for the Switch with the N64 in mind, as this new emulator is what is running Mario 64 and the Mario 3D All-Stars collection. Now ever since Nintendo announced way back in 2018 that they will be adding NES titles to the Nintendo Switch online service, and the inclusion of SNES games a year later, Nintendo fans have been chomping at the bit waiting for the big N to drop one of its most beloved and severely underrated 3D consoles, and with Nintendo telling us that they won't be giving the N64 the classic console treatment, which, can you really blame them? How silly would that tiny console look right next to that monster of a controller? Can you imagine the size of the box they would need to put that controller in just to fit one N64 controller? It's hilarious just thinking about it. These games need to make their way back into the home somehow, and with Nintendo not giving them to us in mini console form, the only way they can bring them back would be on Nintendo's online service. I mean, let's be real here, we don't have a virtual console on this system. The only way to play these games is if you are lucky enough to have them on the Wii or Wii U, or if you pay a ridiculous amount of money for the original games and console, like I did. Anyway, and of course, Nintendo doesn't want us emulating these games and consoles, so in my opinion, there really isn't any other choice but for them to get new life on the Switch online system, if not just to keep emulators out of the hands of Nintendo fans. Now yes, there are a ton of fantastic N64 games made in-house by Nintendo that fans would love to see on the service, including Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask. Mario Party 1, 2, and 3, plus a ton more. And I know what you're going to say, the N64 is nothing without their extensive library of Rare developed games, and you would be right. Rare games were the reason for me picking up my N64 as a kid. Games like Banjo-Kazooie, GoldenEye, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Blast Corps, Perfect Dark, DK64, and more. Yes, getting these games in the system could be hard, but definitely not impossible, especially with the relationship Microsoft has with Nintendo at this time. Even still, Nintendo has so many great games that they could put on the service that would keep fans of the console happy for years. So yes, this is obviously all speculation, and I hope to not get your hopes up for this to actually happen, but I myself truly believe that Nintendo will drop their next console on the Nintendo Switch Online service this September during the heavily rumored Direct. If not N64, then I'm sure we will hear about another system coming, possibly something with a more extensive game library such as Game Boy, Game Boy Color, which even though I would prefer to see my favorite console, the N64, come to the system, the Game Boy would be a welcome addition. And that is it. Again, September, during the next Direct, we will see the next Nintendo console drop onto Nintendo Switch Online service. Mark my words. If this video gets more than 100 likes and 1,000 views, and if I'm right about this, I will host some kind of giveaway to all my subscribers. I haven't quite decided what that will be yet, but I'll figure something out by that time. Thanks so much you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to like the video, share it with a friend who's a fan of the N64, and of course, the most important thing you can do would be to subscribe to Super Gaming Minute if you guys like all things Nintendo and gaming. I appreciate you all. Have a great rest of your week, and as always, keep on gaming.